So when I use OpenSim Worlds and Second Life, I tend to use a viewer called Firestorm. So I'm just going to go through the process of downloading and installing it and setting up a couple of preferences. To find Firestorm, just go to your favorite browser, type in Firestorm Viewer, and you'll come to the viewer page. You can go to the viewer page. You can have a look around and read to your heart's content if you want to. It is an open source project, so if you're keen on doing a bit of coding, feel free to jump in and play around with it. If you just want to download it, come to the download section. You'll see the current version, which at the moment is 4.6.7.42398. Bit of an alert there if you're having problems. Just talking about doing a clean install. If we come down a little bit further, we find the downloads. So we've got 3 different platforms: Windows, Mac, and Linux. Select the one you prefer. I'm running a Mac at the moment, so I'll select that one. So there are also 3 different downloads available for each platform. You'll see here we've got for SL, which stands for Second Life 32-bit. We have for SL and OpenSim, click to download, and SL and OpenSim 64-bit beta, which is the one that I'm actually using. Feel free to use either the last 2, whether you're on Windows, Linux or Mac. So click on one of these to download it, save it where you prefer, and then install. So on a Mac, we just come to our download screen, and we can just open up Firestorm DMG, which I've got here, and then we can drag and drop that into applications. Once you've installed it, fire it up. So once you've got it fired up, just to have a look at the interface. So we've got the login down the bottom. You've got your username. You can have a number of usernames here because it supports a number of different open sims, including Second Life. You've got your password and where you want to start. So last location is usually good. You've got the option of home if you have a home selected, or you can type in a region name as well if you like. The actual grid that you're going to be logging into, you can select there. So I've got Second Life. The other one that I tend to log into as well is Kitely. There are quite a few others there in the list as well. Now, before I actually log in, I just want to mention a couple of options that I suggest you use. If you come to Viewer and Preferences, let's just pop back to General. On the right-hand side, up the top, there's a box. The top one says Extras, and then you've got just under that, pressing letter keys. By default, it says Start Local Chat. Now, that may be fine for you. What I prefer, and if you're a gamer, you might prefer this as well, is Affects Movement, which means if you press the WASD keys, that will actually move you and your avatar around the world. So that may work for you, just as a suggestion. The other one, the graphics. If you come to the graphics tab, if you're familiar with the graphics and various settings, if you're a gamer, I'm assuming you probably are, you might want to come in here. It's reasonably well. Firestorm seems to be reasonably good at selecting the correct graphics, if you like. If things slow down, you might want to change things, or if you've got a high-end machine and maybe it hasn't picked up the capability, you might want to come in here and change that. So whichever one of these you select, what I would suggest looking at is just making sure that Advanced Lighting Model is actually checked. That can make quite a difference, and it's not really a big hit to your rendering. So once you've made any changes there, click Apply and OK. And then we're going to log into our actual world. So to log in, just type in your password. Make sure you've got the correct grid selected and log in. Okay, so now that we're logged in, just a couple of things. One of the first things I tend to do when I log in, being a gamer, if I just move around the world, you'll see I just walk nice and slow, which might be fine. That might be okay for you. I tend to prefer to make it a little bit faster. If I click on this button, you'll see I've got run here as well, so there's walk and run. I tend to select run, which allows me to move around quite a bit faster. The other thing that I prefer as well, if I select down here, the camera controls, it's not easy to see, but if you go up the top, you'll see mouse look view. Now that allows me to go into first person and move around like that, which as a gamer, I've always preferred first person, and I can just move around and look like so. Now if I want to come out of that, there's an easy quick key for that. If I just hit M, brings me out. If I hit M, brings me back in again. Sometimes you do need to be in third person mode to interact with various objects, so you will need to come in and out if you prefer first person, as I do. If you ever sort of get messed up and you want to reset your view, just hit escape and that'll sort of bring everything back into line. So so that is just the basics of installing and running the Firestorm viewer, and it's probably all I really need to show you just at the moment.